Hey, Bill, look what our werewolf dug up in the backyard.
Werewolf? We don't have a werewolf. Oh, crap, never mind. What is that?
It's a disembodied, shriveled, mummified hand that's badly in need of a manicure.
We better hurry up and bury that, because it's one of the artifacts of Vecna this week on the Dungeon Masters Dojo episode.
Support the Dungeon Masters Dojo by heading over to Apple Podcasts and Podchaser and leave a review. Take the time to leave a comment as well. This helps make us more searchable to those listeners interested in content such as ours. But more importantly, we want to know how we are doing and what topics you would like to hear about.
Another way you can support the DMD is with a small monthly donation, so we can continue to deliver quality content to you, our listeners. This also helps us to upgrade and replace equipment. Head over to Anchor, to the Dungeon Masters Dojo page, and click the support button. And now, onto this week's episode.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dungeon Masters Dojo podcast. This is a show for game masters, as well as experienced and new players alike. We hope to bring you the tools needed to not only be a great GM, but to help you develop as a player. I'm your host, Louis Aponte. Our stars of the show are Scott Labby and Bill Robotile. Let's enter the dojo and see what both Bill and Scott have in store for us today. Hey Bill, hey Scott, how's it going?
Good. I got my Keith Richards hand and my Marty Feldman eye. We're all ready to go.
Please reference our previous episode.
So I guess with that, we're gonna get right into it, and we're talking about artifacts of Vecna.
Yeah. We both of us have been spending a lot of time in the dusty confines of the dojo's Lyceum, deep in the bowels of the dojo itself. So we're bringing you a little bit of the second edition versions of these classic artifacts, and of course we'll talk about fifth ed and how they compare. And you guys can go ahead and pick which one you like to use the best, because they're the Dungeon Masters, Bill.
They're the Dungeon Masters. All we're doing is giving you the tools. It's up to you to figure out which one you want to use,
and it's okay no matter which one you pick.
That's it. You have our approval.
Though second edition's better in my opinion, but maybe I have a biased opinion.
No, you're absolutely correct. Our opinions are worth gold, and everything else is not.
Oh, Lou's making that squinty face he does when he disagrees. Go on, Lou. What do you got?
I actually think for fifth edition is better because it's tailored.
You're fired.
Do the editing yourself.
You're rehired.
So like I was saying, it's tailored for fifth edition, so it fits better.
Yeah, well,
Potato.
if you push hard enough, it'll fit. Just think of it like that.
And we're going to move on with that.
Yeah, that's probably best.
Uncomfortable pause.
Yep. It is said, though not in the hearing of strangers, that when the mighty Lich Vecna finally met his doom, one of his eyes survived along with his hand.
You can find both Eye and Hand of Vecna on page 224 of the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide. The Sword of Cass can be found on page 226 of the 5th edition of the Dungeon Master's Guild. So, these are listed in the artifacts section as sample artifacts. It's an absolute shame that there are not more than just a few short paragraphs regarding these iconic items. But today's your lucky day, because both Scott and I have sequestered ourselves, as he mentioned, in the dusty confines of the dojo's super secret Lyceum, to bring you a more complete description of Vecna's artifacts. There's a wonderful series of books written for second edition called the Encyclopedia Magica, and this is where we draw our magic items from. It is an easy conversion from second edition to fifth. You can go ahead and do it yourself, but why bother when you have the two of us to do it for you?
Yeah, why bother? Because, as we all know, Lou, if you push hard enough, you get that round peg into the square hole. It'll fit nice.
Well, then, show us how it fits.
All right. It is unclear as to whether or not the artifact known as the Eye of Vecna is actually the Arch-Lich's true eye. It is said that the eye glitters in much the same way that the eye of a cat does. So here's the 5th ed version of the eye, the one that Lou likes. This is from the Dungeon Master's Guide. Both the eye and the hand are wondrous items, artifacts that require attunement. So here are the properties of the eye. Your alignment changes to neutral evil, and you gain the following benefits. You have true sight. You can use an action to see as if you were wearing a ring of X-ray vision. You can end this effect as a bonus action. So yeah, the eye basically makes you Superman.
Yay.
The eye has 8 charges. You can use an action and expend 1 or more charges to cast one of the following spells from it. It's a DC 18 save. Clairvoyance, 2 charges. Crown of Madness, 1 charge. Disintegrate, 4 charges. Dominate Monster, 5 charges. Or Eye Bite, 4 charges. The eye regains 1d4 plus 4 expended charges daily at dawn. Each time you cast a spell from the eye, there is a 5% chance that Vecna tears your soul from your body, devours it, yum, 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 and then takes control of the body like a puppet. If that happens, you become an NPC under the DM's control. Better hope that Bill's not sitting at the head of the table because it's going to suck. And in reading that, Bill, it is a pretty potent magic item or artifact still.
Yes.
In the in 5th edition, so I will have to begrudgingly agree with Lou that it is a fine magic item in its own right. But why don't you tell us about the 2nd ed version of the eye, the one we like best, and the one that we're the most used to using?
I shall. So this is how the eye works. The eye must be pressed into the empty socket of a living human head. Once that is done, the eye grafts itself into the head of the user and grants that user remarkable powers. The eye, prior to being placed in the head, appears to be a blood-red clot of some sort, but once it's pressed into the empty eye socket, it becomes an eye, gains a golden feline-like appearance. Once it's placed inside the head of the user, the eye cannot be removed. When the eye is placed and becomes permanently affixed to the user, there is an alignment shift. The user becomes chaotic.
One of the things when reading the 5th edition description of the eye and the hand, they do mention you have to gouge your own eye out or lop off your own hand to affix the eye or the hand to like the stump or the socket.
Much better for the story.
Yeah, well, yeah, I will give you that. It's I mean that I would have to make the player describe that. It's like, okay.
Yeah, you would most definitely have to.
Let's hear it. How are you going to go about doing that? So how does the alignment shift occur at the table? Let's say for the sake of argument that your character is lawful good. Once the eye is pressed into the socket and it grafts, your alignment will become chaotic good. If you are neutral evil, your alignment now becomes chaotic evil, and so on and so forth. As a GM, and for the sake of your story, because everything you should be doing is for the sake of your story, please do not make this transformation immediate. Like you go from like lawful good paladin to bad guy, just like that.
No, of course not.
No,
there's no giant switch on the wall. You just
that's
no
boring. Don't do that. Make the transformation dramatic. It should be a slow creep, a gradual descent into chaos. My personal preference is to slowly sink the character into chaotic evil over the course of maybe, like 6 months to a year of gaming. Once the transformation is complete, they now become an NPC and my next big bad.
See, now you're starting to think like me.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
That's quite disturbing.
The effect the eye has on its user cannot be altered, no matter what, not even by wishes. And speaking of wishes, one of the most powerful abilities that the eye grants its user is granting of a wish. This occurs once a week, but it comes with a price. Every time a wish is used, there is an increasing possibility that the power contained within the eye will become free and take over the wielder. This results in the destruction of the individual soul, and now that the eye is in command of the wielder, it will, while retaining the form of the wielder, seek out any and all of the associates of the wielder and destroy them. Yay!
Yeah, that's grim.
Yes, it is.
I still really like the Vecna will pluck your soul from your body and devour it. It's like is he just like kind of hanging out?
He is a demigod.
you know,
Still,
just,
yeah.
I don't know, he's playing chess with Strahd or something.
Yeah, it's like, oh, excuse me, hang on a second.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Watch this, guys. Maybe they had a few cocktails. He's like, you want to see something funny, guys? This
Bloody
poor
Mary?
bastard. Yeah. I'm going to watch me tear Ragnar's soul from his body, and I'm going to eat it. How's that? And then, you know, makes him dance around like, you know, he's on puppet strings while the other, like, bad guys like Soth and Strahd are laughing.
It's Sauce in the corner. Hey, do me a favor. Hey, make him go kill his family.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Make him go kill his family.
Yeah, he's handsome. I don't like him.
Yeah.
He's probably getting all the girls.
As a GM, how do you run this in the game? We recommend starting at 5% chance of the eye taking over the wielder when the wish spell is used. For example, roll percentile dice. Say, for instance, if the roll is 95 or higher, the eye has taken over the wielder. If on the first use of the wish, the wielder is not overtaken by the eye, then the results will become progressive. For example, the second time a wish is used, there will be a 10% chance that the wielder will succumb to the power of the eye. On the third occasion, the wish is used, there will be a 20% chance, and the fourth occasion, the wish is a 40% chance, and so on and so forth. So should you get to the point where there is greater than a 100% chance the wielder will be overtaken by the eye when a wish is used, add some drama and have them roll percentile dice anyways. Anything except for double zeros will result in the wielder being overtaken by the eye. This will be a quick transformation because we all know a wish in the hands of a player is going to be used often.
And recklessly.
So, yeah, you shouldn't have to wait, but I'm thinking half dozen gaming sessions. And then, yep.
Yeah, that one time that Lou's sitting there and he's like, you know what? I wish for belly dancers and a big bowl of grapes. And now all of a sudden, Marty Feldman and I takes over and Lou's Vecna.
Oops.
Yeah.
No, everyone take a nap. Really, it'll be fine while I sharpen my dagger.
Yeah, the wish ability's like scary powerful.
It is because there's a lot of things you can do or undo.
Yeah,
And I think that's
Heedlessly
why
and recklessly.
that's why I think I like the 5th edition stuff better. It's can't be abused like this can be. If you really think about it,
it's more difficult to abuse in 5th. I'll give it that. It's a little more difficult to abuse the wish.
the wish ability is not the only ability the eye grants the user, though it's the most powerful of them all. The eye also comes with secondary powers that may be used with no adverse effects whatsoever to the user. These effects are as follows. Clairaudience, water breathing, and paralyzation. The paralyzation comes with a -3 on the saving throw for the target. These can be used 3 times a day. I like that paralyzation thing.
Yeah.
But water breathing? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're really, really bored, you can jump in the lake and start paralyzing fish, I guess.
Yeah. Was Vecna an avid scuba diver, or maybe he was on the swim team in college?
I did hear he loved fly fishing, though.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, he was the avid fly fisherman.
I could see him in those like rubber pants and everything. With
They
the
never
boots.
fit very well. He's a little bony.
Yeah,
but he never really fit very
Get
well.
that man a cheeseburger, damn it.
All right. Hey, how about you give me a hand?
Ba-dum-bum.
So on to the hand of Vecna. According to the Encyclopedia Magica, the hand appears as a dried, shriveled, and blackened hand. This, of course, is one of the 2 remaining parts of the Arch-Lich Vecna. So, here's the 5th edition version of the hand. Properties of the hand. Your alignment changes to neutral evil, and you gain the following benefits. Your strength score becomes 20, unless it is already 20 or higher. Any melee spell attack you make with the hand, and any melee weapon attack you make with the weapon being held in that hand deals an extra 2d8 cold damage on a hit. The hand has 8 charges. You can use an action to expend 1 or more charges to cast one of the following spells. Save DC of 18. Finger of Death, 5 charges. Sleep, 1 charge. Slow, 2 charges. Or Teleport, 3 charges. The hand regains 1d4 plus 4 expended charges daily at dawn. Each time you cast a spell from the hand, it casts the suggestion spell on you, save DC 18, demanding that you commit an evil act. The hand might have a specific act in mind, or just leaves it up to you. To attune to the hand, you must lop off your left hand at the wrist, then press the artifact against the stump. The hand grafts itself to your arm and becomes a functioning appendage. If the hand is ever removed, you die. The Eye of Vecna and the Hand of Vecna each have the following random properties. 1 minor beneficial property, 1 major beneficial property, 1 minor detrimental property. So there you go.
Yeah, that's
It's got a little juice behind it.
yeah. You can have a lot of fun with that, committing an evil act thing.
Yes.
It's kind of like that kid your parents never approved you hanging around with, when you were younger. It's just me and that hand telling me to do bad things.
Why don't you go over the second edition for us?
Yeah. Yeah.
The one we like best.
Before we digress
quickly.
Yeah, that's second edition, Close to the Heart. If the hand is pressed against the stump of a wrist, the wearer of the hand is able to use all of its awesome and terrible powers. It is not immediately known with any of these artifacts whether or not there are powers associated with them, though. These powers are being discovered through trial and error, because that's fun. Once the hand attaches itself to the body of its host, the alignment of the host changes to evil. Not even a detect evil spell will reveal this, however, so you pesky paladins, you can bugger off. Removal of the hand can only be done under certain circumstances. The hand can be removed at any time prior to the use of any of the hand's primary powers. After 10 uses, though, the hand can never be removed. No effects of the hand can be altered by any means at all, and every time one of the hand's primary powers is used successfully, the wielder of the hand's powers incurs penalties. When I say that the effects of the hand cannot be altered by any means, I mean by any means. Not even a wish spell or the act of a god can alter the effects of the hand. What are those primary powers, though, Bill? What are they?
Okay, the primary powers are used by extending the fingers of the hand in different combinations. Sleep also affects up to 1 creature of any level 3 times per day. Generate a double effect slow spell twice a day. Finger of Death with -4 on the saving throw once per day. Regenerate up to 1/2 of all points lost in combat. Teleport twice per day. Monster summoning once per day. X-ray vision as a ring of X-ray vision. Spell turning, death spell twice per day. Locate treasure.
That's and I think that the finger of death, you have to. That's the one you use the middle finger for, right?
It's got to be.
You give the somatic component is the old middle finger, and the verbal is and then that's the finger of death. Well, bodies dropping everywhere.
It's either that or teleport. Give him the middle finger and go, I am out of here.
For some reason, this X-ray vision thing,
yeah, it popped up. Yeah,
is big, and I don't know if.
Well, and you can go through walls with no problem.
Yeah,
I think it's a foot. I'm just going off of memory, so I'm sure I might be wrong, but it's like a foot of stone or a foot of metal and like 6 feet of stone or something. You can see through up to that point, which is pretty substantial and it's got a good range to it too. So you can basically stand in one room and pull a 360 and scan everything around you. It's pretty easy to find stuff. You can't hide things, secret doors, stuff in the bottom of chests. So X-ray vision is very, very useful, especially when people are trying to hide stuff from you.
How about that locate treasure feature? That's pretty cool too. That must have been for when Vecna was a banker.
Well, yeah. Just his early days as an accountant.
Yeah, before the whole Lich thing happened.
Yeah,
got to pay the bills.
Yep. Well, there you go. Even horses cost money, so
that's right.
Except in Lose World, where you just burn down the stable and take the horse.
Take them.
But most people pay for them.
Murder hobos.
Deny it. I dare you.
Go ahead.
Deny it.
Go ahead, wild card. Deny you did that.
I'm not going to deny it. I'm going to say it happened.
Lou's not proud of it, but it happened. We all make mistakes in our misguided youth, even though that was like,
I wasn't proud of it.
3 years ago.
I was waiting for the other half because he always goes, it happened. And he almost always goes, in self-defense.
Yeah.
Against the 13, 14-year-old stable boy that he beat up and then lit the stable on fire with no one else in there to threaten him with all the horses in their stables.
He was a big stable boy. It was a big stable boy.
Yes, but it was against self-defense. It was self-defense.
No, it didn't happen like that.
Yeah,
there
we
was
know.
6 guys in there. Remember that one?
No.
Of course you guys would say that.
All right, so the user of the artifact always receives a premonition of danger just before the event occurs. It does not reveal what the danger is, just that there is a threat in the area. So you get the spidey sense on top of that.
Ooh, tingles and everything.
Yep. Secondary powers, you get levitation, fly, infravision, and detect traps and secret doors. I think the levitation thing is cool.
Anytime you can hover like an inch or two off the floor and just kind of float across, it's that cool evil factor.
You have to have like billowy cloaks and robes on so they kind of flap around while you're doing it.
Did you ever get a good look at the hands of Mother Superior when you were in school?
She was swinging that ruler way, way too fast. She was like lightning. I think she was a lich,
but
too.
She kind of hovered, right?
She did.
It never seemed...
She never walked. She kind of hovered across the floor, but...
She glided across the floor towards you?
Yeah, that was... we are always looking for her phylactery. We think it was being stored in the liquor store down the street.
Who would have looked there?
Not me.
Just the priest. Sorry, edit that out.
No, stay.
Use of this artifact causes the user to eventually become ethereal every time he or she is under stress. Each time it is used, the user has a 2% chance cumulative of going ethereal when under stress. After 10 uses, the character has a 20% chance of becoming ethereal under stress. So being under stress is defined as any situation where the user faces a monster, trap, place, or person that the user is uncertain that he or she can conquer. After 50 uses, the user becomes ethereal with every stressful situation. The ethereal state lasts until the stress is removed.
Sir, do you know why I pulled you over today? Poof, gone.
We almost made Lou choke on a grape.
So your character would never really be around. If he was,
yeah.
Unless he was badass and just didn't care.
Yeah.
And then you'd just be scared.
Okay, in addition to the primary and secondary powers of the hand, being touched by this hand will turn the opponent's bones to jelly. This gruesome power can be used once per day. That in itself is just scary as hell. Hey, get a load of this. Poke, you're a blob.
Just fall right out of your clothes because there's nothing and you're like a big old puddle of goo.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another one, Bill. There's another artifact of Vecna.
Did I miss one?
There's the Sword of Cass. Right? That counts, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
It counts
It's not a part of him, but it was created by him.
Exactly.
It was created by him. And
wielded by somebody else.
Yeah, it was used to kill him.
Yep.
That's sneaky
How
Cass.
about a few details? Fill us in.
All right. Well, Cass was Vecna's chief lieutenant, and as Vecna was the greatest wizard of his time, Cass was the greatest swordsman. In the end, Cass betrayed Vecna, and both were killed during that betrayal. All that remained of the Archlich Vecna was his eye and hand, and all that remained of Cass was his sword. Here's the 5th edition version of the sword. The Sword of Cass is a wondrous item, an artifact that requires attunement. The Sword of Cass is a magic, sentient longsword that grants a +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it. It scores a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20 and deals an extra 2d10 slashing damage to undead. If the sword isn't bathed in blood within 1 minute of being drawn from its scabbard, its wielder must make a DC 15 charisma saving throw. On a successful save, the wielder takes 3d6 psychic damage. On a successful save. That hurts.
Oh, dude. It must get better then.
Oh, it does. On a failed save, the wielder is dominated by the sword as if by the Dominate Monster spell, and the sword demands that it be bathed in blood. The spell effect ends when the sword's demand is met. So that could be like anything. Once that sword takes you over, the person standing next to you,
yep.
Especially if Lou's the guy holding the sword,
I hope he never
is going to get stabbed.
You can see him just hovering there, just hacking at his horse because everyone else ran away.
So the random properties, Sword of Cass has these random properties. It's got a minor beneficial property, a major beneficial property, a minor detrimental property, and a major detrimental property. How about telling us about the second edition version of this, Bill?
Let's get into that. The sword is a thin gray blade made from an unidentified substance, though it is clear that the substance is some type of metal. The sword is approximately 6 feet in length with a ripple of gold running down its center. The hilt is approximately 2 feet in length, wrapped in red leather flecked with gold. But the sword, although it seems incredibly long, can easily be wielded with 2 hands. The crossguard is narrow and made of unicorn horn, caped with black pearls. The basket surrounding its hilt is sculpted in the image of a leering, bearded face. Perhaps this face is that of Cass himself. The sword has a bonus of +3 to hit and damage, and a +5 to hit and damage versus undead and fiends. This is an intelligent magic item and has an intelligence of 18. The Sword of Cass is an evil weapon, and it will immediately turn the alignment of any who wield it to evil. The sword has the following abilities. Water breathing. The user may become ethereal twice per day. Cause serious wounds of double effect twice a day. As long as the user carries the artifact, the character acts as a magic drainer. No magic directed at the user has any effect. And the user can use no magic. Any magic that touches any part of the user's body permanently loses its magical ability. The user may restore 1 lost level as a restoration spell once per week, perhaps 1 drained from a nearby friendly PC. It's our opinion that the second versions of these iconic artifacts are far more potent than the 5th edition counterparts. Your opinion may vary regarding this, and that's fine because it's your game and you can do whatever you want, whatever you do as a Dungeon Master, whether it's to be use the hand and the eye as listed in the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide, or use a 2nd edition version we have outlined, or to blend the two together. Do take time to add artifacts to your game.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Throw them in there at higher levels.
At higher levels.
Or make them the focal point of a campaign. I think that's a really cool thing to do.
I think another way, too, is pass it off to one of your NPCs, because there's almost always an NPC or a guide or something like that. Have them stumble upon it accidentally. It slides across the floor, and everyone goes, "Don't touch it." And he's like, reaches down, but no, I want to help, and picks it up, and all this badness starts.
Or you could just have a regular commoner happen across them with the party, and he becomes your big bad at the end.
Yeah. That's actually
there's
a really sick way to start a campaign, even if it's just like the guy who tends to your horses.
Yep.
Has been kind of traveling with the party. Everybody has grown really fond of him. He's just kind of like a simple, regular sort of guy or regular sort of gal. And that sword, the sword falls in front of him. His first instinct is to pick things up because he's always picking up after the party, and boom. Now he is your bad guy. And now they have an emotional attachment to him. And now they have to go kill him. And that's
while his
hard.
wife, Betty, who's been your cook the whole time, screaming, "Don't hurt him!"
Yeah, well, there goes your moral game.
Your moral dilemma. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So there's these other Vecna artifacts. So we talked about the eye, the hand, the sword. But over the course of Dungeons & Dragons' very long history, and it is a very long history, there's some other magic items related to our favorite Lich. Now, we all know that the body of Vecna, except for the hand and eye, was completely destroyed in his battle with Cass, but apparently more of his body survived. His other eye and fingers on his right hand survived, as did his scalp, a molar, incisors, a foot. How about that? Carrying around a Lich's foot. Ugh. Some skin and the heart. There's also a set of bracers associated with Vecna. He is believed to have not only worn them, but crafted them as well. These items are, of course, cursed. We would be remiss not to mention the false artifacts, too. There was a time where a fake head and hand of Vecna was constructed and used by cultists. I'm not really...
How do you construct a head?
I don't know, paper mache.
Yeah, a little sod, maybe some horsehair.
Maybe you went down to Michael's and got one of those things, those heads that you put a wig on.
I wonder if they have a Vecna mold.
The Vecna, yeah. I think you get one, for Halloween to make like Jell-O.
We can bring it to the pottery class and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Throw it in the kiln. Make 4 or 5 of them.
Use it as an ashtray.
Yeah, there you go.
It's good use for it. The Vecna ashtray. We're going to have to add that to the Teespring store, the Vecna, the Vecna ashtray. See what you can do about that. I don't know how I feel about those other artifacts. I kind of just like the hand in the eye.
I think it cheapens things a little bit. I mean, they're probably a lot of these has probably popped up in like Dungeon or Dragon Magazine, Polyhedron, things like that. I mean, just as kind of like, hey, check this out. Maybe this will work. I'm kind of glad they didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Because if there's this many parts floating around,
you can build yourself a whole like Vecna.
Yeah,
like
and the whole
Vecna
idea
scarecrow.
is he's bound, he's dead, he's gone. His essence is still kind of floating out there, but he hasn't materialized, and let's probably keep it that way because it's better for the story, for the suspense.
It definitely is,
but that have him come back, okay, maybe, but you're dealing with a demigod here.
Yeah. I don't know. I would be apt not to use those. Or if they were to make an appearance in a campaign, they would be, swiftly proven to just be like fakes.
Yeah.
Like that Yeti scalp that they had in Tibet and it turned out to be a goat.
Right.
Which is kind of
Josh Gates has built a whole series on stuff like.
I love Josh Gates.
I do. He is a very charismatic gentleman.
He is. I go on an adventure with him. I'd probably have a heart attack and blow out my knee because I got bad knee.
Don't we all?
It's a lot of wear and tear. Yeah, Josh Gates is doing in the real world what we do in D&D on Monday nights.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's way more badass than we are.
He's also 20 years younger than me.
Yeah, well, yeah.
20 years ago, I could do the badass stuff too. Oh, wow.
So how would you use these in a campaign, though?
The artifacts?
Yeah.
The artifacts, I would probably, after your suggestion, I really like that. Having like a simple person kind of pick up the sword. I would probably have an NPC traveling with the party, like hiring the party to collect these things. And the whole time they're collecting these things, the NPC is kind of scheming to, gouge out his eye, lop off his hand, wield the sword and everything like that, just to.
So this NPC's done his homework before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, yeah, it does just because the NPC seems like a simpleton and a very ordinary person doesn't mean he is.
Right. So he's just using the party to.
Right. It could be a very relatively smart and decently leveled spellcaster that is like, okay, maybe a follower of that cult and said, hey, I'm going to try something different. Instead of others going out as a gang, I'm going to do this all by myself.
I would go with the misguided good guy. There's like, he or she knows that there's something coming that requires someone with some potent ability to kind of face, like an otherworldly invasion from another plane or demi-plane, and he's or she's out looking for those artifacts so that they could be the one to kind of stand against whatever foes are expected to arrive. They have the right thing in mind. They have the best of intentions, but they find that when they get these artifacts and they have everything they need and now they're wearing them and using them, that they're that thing that was kind of prophesized as coming, so they
fulfill the prophecy.
Yeah.
By being the bad guy that is going to destroy the city, the town, the family,
or the world. So now the PCs who are traveling with this person, kind of supporting their cause, now have to take this person down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
sounds very good.
Yeah,
and that's this week's episode on Artifacts of Vecna. Look for more DM Quick Tips, our new segment, A Monster in Minutes, and all the new mini episodes for this month. Halloween is in October, and that means all our Dungeon Masters Dojo content in October is Halloween themed. See you next week in the dojo. That's going to conclude this episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Please subscribe to the podcast for more great content. If you'd like to hear a particular topic, you can reach us on Facebook at the Dungeon Masters Dojo, or you can drop us an email at thedungeonmastersdojo@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good day.